Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to another review
Of
of anything.
Anything.
Okay, so we just watched The Cloverfield Paradox, and it just came out today. So our Cloverfield reviews are going to be totally mixed up because we were under the impression, because of the rumors that were going around, that this movie, which was going to be titled Cloverfield Station, was going to be coming out in April. But during the Super Bowl today, they're just like, how about tonight? So we filmed our 10 Cloverfield Lane review a couple days ago, and we were going to review the original Cloverfield.
Yesterday.
Dakota's off screen.
He's tired, so he's not in this, but you might hear him chime in every so often.
And snore.
Yeah. And then we were going to review the original Cloverfield this coming weekend, but we're kind of like, well, let's watch the Cloverfield Paradox, like right now. So this review is going to be coming out first, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then the original Cloverfield, so...
You're
Yeah.
gonna try to get this out Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Sit down on the couch, Dakota.
You want to join us?
No, fuck you.
Come on.
Alright.
We
You-
came to
you
your
gotta-
house.
I'm putting my laundry away and I'm coming back, you dick.
Just sit on the couch, asshole. Fuck you.
So, plot synopsis. I don't think we should give hardly anything away, really.
Don't read anything about it.
Read nothing about this movie. I didn't follow the production of this movie that closely. Obviously, I knew it was potentially going to be called God Particle.
You can't really follow the production because
Well-
they don't say anything
Well,
about
yeah,
it.
obviously. Like even reading the little synopsis that was floating around for this movie under its original title.
Don't even read that.
Yeah, because I felt like knowing that, even though it's the basic premise, it'd been so much better seeing it for the first time on screen. I think what we can say, though, is that Earth is having an energy crisis. And there's a mission to try and fix it.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I thought you were just talking about actual Earth.
I mean,
Maybe.
Yeah, not wrong. But, yeah, that's... it's a big energy crisis in the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's best left at that. Go in totally blind, because this movie is very good, I think.
It's pretty good.
I mean, I was kind of blown away by...
I think
Like-
I think it has to just do with the surprise factor.
Yeah, sure.
Now we need him in the shot.
Yeah, he's shirtless. Why don't you come over and show the people your Zone Fighter tattoo?
That's not gonna pick up on camera. It's not gonna pick
There
up.
it is, ladies and gentlemen, the world's first Zone Fighter tattoo.
What a waste of $60.
Fuck you, bitch, it was 80.
Hey, I like it.
It was 80.
Yes, it was 80.
I didn't.
I'm joking.
I didn't force him to get this. By the way, this was.
I mean, we're all eventually gonna get Zone Fighter tattoos.
Yeah.
Get in the shot.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna make sure the camera's in focus because I don't think I did that. Okay, we're back, and we have Dakota now, wrapped up in a blanket.
Yeah, it's freaking cold.
Is he even in shot? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
It's
We're
just
all
the
good.
The aperture's off. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just going into this movie as blind as you can.
Yeah, I didn't even know what the hell this was till like 6 hours ago. So coming
Yeah.
into it was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even tell you that this movie
No.
was going to exist at some point
Until
until
we did
watched
the first,
until we watched 10 Cloverfield Lane.
which would have been yesterday.
Yeah, like yesterday.
Well, 2 days ago actually.
Yeah.
2 days ago we watched it, and then yeah, I was pretty impressed.
Mm-hmm. So I guess without giving much of anything away, it's general thoughts on this
Pretty good. I feel like the whole surprise factor of just advertising and immediately putting it out was... It's definitely what makes the movie memorable right now, in a sense.
movie. Mhm.
It is a movie that has been like shrouded in speculation of its release, and I feel with them going to Netflix, it shows that if this does end up getting a lot of views, it does show that
There's like a market for this.
yeah,
still.
there's a market for having just straight to subscription service releases.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a pretty neat movie. It's pretty wacky in a scary sense. There's a lot of things that happen that are scary and crazy. It's kind of like a psychological horror film at times, which is completely unexpected, but fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I was like, maybe not exactly like blown away, but like left genuinely in shock and surprise at a lot of the stuff that they did, just because it was not at all what I was expecting from the third Cloverfield movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like if you know, the more you know about this movie going in, the less good of an experience you're gonna have overall, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, they don't really give you a lot of information up front anyway.
True.
I think this movie. Before I say anything, I'm very proud of Netflix.
Very proud of Netflix.
I am.
Been following them since the very beginning.
No, I am.
Very proud.
Shut the hell up.
Okay.
I'm proud of Netflix because they put something out that was good quality. They took a gamble on something. There's a lot of decent name actors in this thing too.
You're probably gonna have to speak up a little bit. I'm just.
Shut up. They
Okay.
can hear me. We bought this mic for a reason.
Okay.
And the thing is too is like, not only are the big name actors decent in this, they didn't. I feel like they used most of their budget not on like these big name actors to pull anything. The trailers for everything weren't like dazzling to where it gave you so much information on it. And I will say
exactly what trailers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, that's what I'm getting at is that there's nothing. Like, especially all the movies and trailers and stuff that you see right now, they just give everything up front. And it's like you go in there and you're like, oh, this movie wasn't as good because of these things. And like, the wow factor for this wasn't necessarily oh, hey, I saw that in this thing. Because I know that there's sometimes where you go into a movie and you see portion, like you see the same camera shot in the trailer, and you can kind of get a glimpse of what's going to happen next. This doesn't have any sort of backflash to, oh shit, that's what that was, or that's what this is, or this, that, and the other. Or on IMDb, the synopsis has already been placed, which I guess you guys are kind of given that up front as to just a very, very, very broad, hey, they're in space and it's related to Cloverfield and that's about it.
As of now, it's 12:51, February 5th. There wasn't an IMDb page at all from whenever I looked.
I mean, there's nothing to fall back on. So this is just all, relative information to fall back on. And there was also a lot of, from what you guys made it seem like, a lot of flashbacks to the first one.
Not necessarily flashbacks, but...
Well, we'll get into that in
Yeah.
a second. I don't know what else you want to say before we get into spoilers, because I think we're going to need a lot of time to talk about spoilers.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Don't read anything about it, just watch it.
Just check it out.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so... Spoilers beyond this point. So in this movie, Earth is having an energy crisis, and in the very beginning, we have our main leading actress and her husband in a car in line to get gas, and you hear on the radio that it's projected that Earth only has about 5 years of energy left. And so the main actress is going to be an astronaut on this space station, which is a particle accelerator that, if it works, is supposed to give Earth like unlimited energy forever. So they get up on the space station, and right before they start to fire, well, actually, I'm skipping over a little bit. They're on the space station for about like 2 or 3 years in the very beginning, and they show repeated. Are you playing your Switch?
Yeah.
Okay. Repeated attempts at this particle accelerator like just not working, and so then we cut to the present day, and everyone's up on the spaceship. Everyone's worried because like countries are mobilizing to go to war due to energy shortages, and these people are getting ready to get the accelerator working, and they're like watching the news or whatever, and there's this guy who wrote a book called The Cloverfield Paradox, and he's talking about how like trying to create unlimited energy would essentially be like a paradox, and it would open the gates to like demons and monsters and alternate realities flooding into each other and all this. And that's exactly what happens.
With the marketing for this movie, the marketing has only been around for like today or like the past couple days.
You were following a bit more that happened earlier before the Super Bowl, apparently.
Yeah,
like,
I just like looked up a couple videos on YouTube. So there's a character in the movie, the guy who writes the book,
The Cloverfield Paradox.
The Cloverfield Paradox. He has the same last name as John Goodman's character in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're related, who knows?
There's a lot of weird connections in this movie.
But they made like a fake Twitter for that character, and that character is talking about how he's receiving like videos from people that seem like they're from the future or something like that, and they're telling him to write a book, and that was it. And then they shut down the Twitter. So who knows? I don't know. This thing.
Yeah, I'm interested in how that connects, because
I can show you the video.
Well, yeah. I mean, like watching the movie.
It didn't really. Cut this out, Jake. Future Jake. They didn't really do anything with that character, so I don't know if that video.
Yeah,
is
I
actually,
don't know that they needed to do anything with that character. What the hell is the guy writing a book?
I'm just curious
this.
what the connection with the Twitter account is, where it's
Yeah.
like who would the people from the future be?
The people on the space station.
But they didn't tell him to write the book.
Exactly.
So, the particle accelerator teleports everyone. Well, it makes the Earth disappear. And this is like the part of the synopsis that if you followed this movie's production, like what little there was, this is what you'd known about the movie. People are on the space station and the Earth disappears. Your first place. So, eventually...
one of the characters, he's the Russian character. After they...
He was a German. Oh yeah, you're talking.
Yeah, the Russian character. Okay. After they make the Earth disappear, he's like having some troubles with his eye. And this is where we first start to get into the psychological like horror elements.
Some weird
and he's like
stuff.
Looking in the mirror, and then his eye just
he's like grabbing at his skin and stuff and like pulling it away, like he's got like an itch or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like covers his eye and he takes it back and his eye is like looking that direction, just straight on.
Yeah, and then he's like able to like
he realigns it,
and he's like talking to himself in the mirror.
He's like talking to Russian, he's like "Niet."
But he's like saying, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene they show is him 3D printing a gun.
They also 3D print bagels to eat on this ship, so I mean...
3D printing food is a thing, though, apparently.
Okay.
Cut this out on board. Anyways, so the next scene is he has the gun and he starts... he walks up to the crew and he's threatening...
the German and the Chinese girl.
Daniel Bruhl... Cut this out.
He's the guy in Civil War.
Yeah, there's a character... The main antagonist from Civil War is in this movie. He plays the...
I still like him a lot as an actor, too. We'll just add that in.
Plays the representative from Germany. And he's, like, threatening to kill him because he feels that Russia and Germany are, like, fighting each other on Earth or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're able to... and as he's pointing the gun, he starts, like, puking up foam and then has a seizure and dies.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Well, he doesn't die just yet, because everyone like comes in, they're like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And they bring him.
They try to resuscitate him, and then in the act, they just kind of like figure out, they're like, "Oh shit, this guy's having a seizure." He shakes like violently, and then they kind of just like leave it be.
Like, and then he vomits up worms.
Yeah,
well,
which is a precursor to the beginning of the film.
That happens.
This is the Russian
He
guy.
also just pukes up worms that seem to have gone missing on the ship because they had like an incubator.
Yeah,
like fertilizer and stuff.
They had like one small line in the beginning of the film where they addressed that, where they're just kind of like, yeah, where the hell's the worms? And nobody really thinks much of it, and then it comes back later in the film where it's like, oh shit, yeah, there were the worms.
And after that, people start hearing a noise from the walls.
Like it sounds like an alien or a monster screaming.
Just like
almost.
and so they find out that it's coming from inside a certain panel, and they unscrew it, and there's this lady that has wires running through her.
Like they've penetrated her.
Yeah.
Like her entire body, they're just all over, like going through her legs and her arms and her head.
So they're able to cut her from the wires, and she's healing in the sick bay, and Chris O'Doule's character, he's the Irish. If it's O'Doule's, I don't know. Future Jake, fact check me and say if I'm right or wrong or whatever.
Well, if we don't know their names, we'll just call them by their country.
Yeah, Irish guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's fixing some sort of panel. He's fixing the panel that
he's resealing it with Flex Seal.
Yeah, they have like some sort of magnetic.
It's like a magnetic
goop.
fluid that seals up everything.
Yeah, and after he gets done, he
leans up against the wall to get up, and his arm gets sucked in.
Gets sucked in, and it starts pulling him, and eventually it cuts off his arm.
Yeah, everyone's able to yank him out of there, and he's like, "Where's my arm?" But it's not bleeding profusely or anything. It's just like the Brazilian doctor says as he's checking him out. He's like, "It's like he was born this way, without an arm." Like, what?
Yeah, and while this is happening, the lady that was in the wires tells the main protagonist not to trust the German character. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, they start going through the files, and they see that
he's been
Germany intelligence has been talking to him, saying to do certain stuff whenever Russia falls or whatever. And as they're doing that, the captain of the ship locks the German character away. Some time passes, and the door for his cell opens.
Just automatically.
Automatically. And there's a clinking sound that you hear. And he starts walking, and he sees it, and he calls everyone. They're like, "What are you doing out?"
Like, how do you get out?
And he's like, "It doesn't matter. Just
come here."
And he looked down the hallway, and slowly the hand's just pulling itself.
The guy's hand that got sucked off.
Yeah, it is just pulling itself towards the characters. Yeah. And it was one of the freakiest shots in the movie. Mm-hmm. And they recover the hand, and they put it in a box.
It needs two people to handle it, because it's squirming around everywhere. It's got a mind of its own almost.
But it was all. It seemed like it was all with an actual arm, and they just CG'd or removed the actual person.
I mean, maybe it was.
I don't know.
Effects in this movie are surprisingly really good.
And it's sitting in the box, and then it starts acting like it's writing. Mm-hmm. So they give it a Sharpie, and it says, "Cut open the Russian guy." Mm-hmm. And one thing we forgot to mention is that
they don't just say "cut up the Russian guy." That's not what they say in the movie.
They say
that's what the message says. Cut open Von Core.
No, I'm just saying, for them, they don't. It doesn't just say "cut up the Russian guy." Quote unquote. It says his name. That sounds a little weird.
One thing we forgot to mention though is that whenever the Earth disappeared, the gyroscope for the ship disappeared as well.
Basically the thing that gets the particle accelerator going.
Yeah. And so whenever they cut open the Russian guy,
the Chinese lady's digging around, and there's I found something, and she pulls it out.
She pulls out the gyroscope.
The gyro.
So that's also pretty freaky.
Mm-hmm. And so they put it back in the ship, and they find out that they have not made the Earth disappear, but it's on the complete other side of the sun, basically.
Yeah. So they just essentially just teleported to the other side.
So it would seem at first.
And whenever they get there, they receive transmissions from Earth.
how
and
China's
war has started.
China's getting like warships ready to attack the U.S. or something, and Russians about to invade the U.S. on a ground assault or something.
And the space station they were on, what's it called?
The Shepherd.
In their Earth, the Shepherd crash lands on
into the Atlantic Ocean,
yeah.
it says. So,
and here's where we start kind of linking with
the original
Cloverfield 1. Because if you remember in the one scene...
In Cloverfield 1...
Well, even in Cloverfield 1, they mention that a satellite disappears.
Yeah, like they lost contact with it and stuff. Which, like, I don't know how the hell they world built off of that line, or if they had this all planned or something.
It seems like they kind of retconned a bit just because that was in 2008, and this movie of course has technology from nowadays and a little bit from the future.
Yeah, like they're 3D printing food and
so
possibly 2008, like we'll get to that.
It's an okay retcon, but that satellite crash landing, I don't know if it has any relation or not.
My theory was that at the end of the first Cloverfield movie, which, mild spoilers for that. If we're getting into spoilers about this movie...
It's a 10-year-old movie.
Yeah, there's going to be spoilers about the original Cloverfield if you somehow have not seen it or, like, don't care. But at the very end, like the end credit scene or whatever, like, the guy's, like, videotaping him and his girlfriend on the Ferris wheel at Coney Island or whatever, and you, like, pan over, and it was, like, this big source of speculation. You see, like, a tiny little dot fall into the ocean, and everyone thought that was the Cloverfield monster, like, landing as, like, an egg or something. My personal theory is that it's the satellite in this alternate reality of Earth, the Shepherd crashing into the Atlantic Ocean.
Which is kind of where it gets a bit confusing, because on Earth 1, so there's two Earths.
Yeah.
Earth 1, where the movie starts, where the main character is, and she's going to start on the space station.
Mm-hmm.
Earth 2 is the one that they find on...
The other side of the sun.
Yeah. And where war is going on.
Yeah.
Whenever they leave, and that the particle happens and they teleport, is when it seems, they never say explicitly if it is whenever the New York Cloverfield attack happens.
Yeah, like we cut back, throughout the movie, we cut back about like 5 or 6 times, I would say, to her husband back on Earth. And the first time we do, he's like sitting in bed or whatever, and he looks out his window and you see an explosion.
Yeah.
And you like look on social media, looks on social media, and everyone's talking about like, oh my god, like south side of town, it's like explosion, and everyone's like not sure if it's nuclear or whatever. So that's most likely the explosion that happens like when the everyone's on the roof in the first Cloverfield movie, and everyone's like, oh my god, what the hell was that?
Yeah. And the next time we see him, he's driving, and he pulls up to
the big destroyed building,
like an apartment complex,
mm-hmm.
and he sees this girl, and she's like crying,
and he looks up above.
It cuts to a shot that's like far back,
wide
he's
shot.
Center, and through the fiery smoke haze that's behind the building and above the building,
you see a huge shadow.
Another real cool shot in the movie.
Mm-hmm. So
it was suspense by the same person who did Cloverfield 10's music, correct?
Yeah, Barry McCrary.
Music composer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, where did we leave off with space station?
So they find out that war is happening on the second Earth, and so it's essentially made more clear that everyone's like, okay, so we've like meshed with an alternate reality essentially, and this like girl that they found inside the wall, we see on a picture frame on the ship.
She's added in there.
She's a part of the crew now. So
she was a part of the crew,
and so she
on the Earth 2.
Yeah, she's like all better now, and the main actress lady comes to talk to her or whatever, and she's like, don't you remember me? Like, what are you doing on this station? She's obviously like, what the hell are you talking about?
They seem to have been friends on Earth 2, and on Earth 2, the main protagonist doesn't join the crew. She stays at home.
As, like their civilian coordinator, I think she said.
And in Earth 1, her kids had died of a power of a fire.
It's explained that she like got a power cell to siphon energy because there's an energy crisis, obviously. So she puts it in her house and she like leaves the kids alone or something, and her kids die in a house fire.
And in Earth 2, her kids are still alive, along with Earth 2 her, and
her husband. So,
yeah,
like the
full family.
Yeah, the Mina, I think is her name, the lady that's trapped in the wall. We'll just call her Mina. It is okay. She like pulls up a video transmission that like Earth 2 main actress lady has sent to her. So yeah, so that we essentially find out that like the hand that's writing stuff down is from this this other reality that they've meshed with. The Russian guy was talking to himself from a different reality, and this is where it gets like pretty weird. And
go ahead.
I was gonna let you start talking.
I'm not sure. I kind of am gray in this area.
Yeah.
I don't specifically remember. The next person I know was the Asian lady, right?
Yes. So they find out that the particle accelerator did not work. Like the time that they get teleported is like we have everything fixed. Every part of the ship is functioning right. And obviously they don't know why it worked and why it teleported them to a different reality. So they find out it's because when they've been ventilating the particle accelerator, because there's like fires and stuff in it, they've been creating condensation. What game you playing now?
I think I'm playing Zelda.
You play Zelda?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool. And so they find out that through condensation they haven't been able to get the particles to fully mesh together.
Yeah, like fully collide or something. It's
and so they run it as the German guy is running a simulation to make sure that is the actual reason why. She goes to a room to...
She's checking the circuits, she said.
Yeah.
The Chinese lady's in this room. She's in here. She like peels back part of the wall or something to check them all, and all of a sudden water starts leaking into the room.
Yeah, and the door locks.
Yeah.
And as she's in there, everyone starts noticing that it's filling up with water, and it's filling up pretty fast, and she starts almost drowning. But as the water's filling up, it's putting pressure on the room.
It's an airlock, basically.
Yeah, and
so
it's pushing the door
out to space.
Into space.
And this is a pretty cool part, actually. Like
eventually, it opens, and the water immediately freezes
so
with her inside.
She's just frozen solid in there. It's like freaky, but it's like cool.
Just she's gone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're gonna spend so much time on this plot.
That's fine.
We need to cut down, maybe.
Shut up and film.
Okay, fine.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Just keep going.
And so who fucking dies next? Our man.
Arman, yeah, the Italian, or not Italian, Irish. I keep thinking he's Italian.
And so, what does he do?
He
fix?
He figures out that to provide enough energy for them to actually like fire off,
they have
to cut off the second level of the ship or whatever because there's nobody occupying that stuff anyway. So he goes in there and says, "Hey, we can just make this all CO2, and just
oxygen."
Well, he's cutting out the CO2, making it fully oxygen.
Yeah,
he's making it CO2 that way he can just go down there.
Yeah, I think so. I forgot why he went down there.
Yeah, and so he basically just tries to use that glue gun that we talked about in the beginning, like the
Flex Seal.
The Flex Sealed not ancient, but like technologically advanced, whatever the hell. And so he uses that, and that's basically his own demise because for some reason that they never explained.
With the, I guess, high levels of oxygen, and just because it's a wacky movie in the sense that weird things happen sometimes for no reason. The walls become magnetized, and
like everything's flying off his belt,
and the liquid we mentioned.
The Flex Seal is like if you've ever seen those cool YouTube videos where people are like, I have this cup of like magnetic fluid, and they like put a magnet over it, and it's like reaching up toward it. That's what happens.
And so as he's checking out the wall,
This is a cool ass shot.
The magnet fluid is like reaching out to him, and eventually like
almost like a hand or like a spider, like Spider-Man's spiderweb or something.
Yeah.
Is slowly coming toward him.
It eventually like grabs him and pulls him back, and he's like stuck. And then like a CO2
a CO2 canister, because like it's all oxygen obviously at this point
in the room.
So like they're saying any spark is gonna blow everything up. So the CO2 canister unfortunately slams against the wall. That's magnetized, and boom, that part of the ship is gone.
The part of the ship explodes.
Yeah.
And so they figure out that because of the explosion, part of the bottom of the ship is tilting, and if it gets at a 25-degree angle...
Yeah, it's misaligned, it's like rotating at an angle.
And if it gets to a 25-degree angle, the entire ship will just...
like blow up, it's gone.
It's event after event after event.
Yeah.
And so whenever they go to try to fix it, the thing to unjam it is...
you need to be in an airlock for it to work. So the one guy's like, okay.
The captain says, I'm going to stay behind, do it, whatever. He ends up...
he just flies off into space.
Yeah.
Because they have to detach that part of the ship.
So the doctor and the main protagonist go back. She's kind of in charge now. And they're... So who's left is German Man, Doctor Man...
main actress lady.
And Mina, the World 2 lady.
Wall lady.
Engineer.
Yeah.
From there,
this is the part of the movie where it just kind of gets...
It's kind of boring. It's the boring part of the movie.
Because there's nothing really...
And it doesn't really feel like a Cloverfield movie.
Because it just sort of turns into a generic, like, betrayal on the spaceship kind of story. So, like, the Mina, the engineer lady from Earth 2, essentially is like... Well, because they're about to launch...
Dr. Man and German Man are going to go ahead and go back to Earth 1 since they know how to get the correct particles ready and everything.
Yeah.
They're just going to fix it over at Earth 1. While Mina and main protagonist...
They're not going to fix it at Earth 1, they're fixing it at Earth 2.
No, they're going to fix it at Earth 1.
They need to, like, get it working to get back to Earth 1 and then fix it at Earth 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
This is the part
and so...
No,
yeah.
But they're not going to Earth 1 to fix Earth 1. They're going to back to Earth 2 to fix the particles to go back to Earth 1.
No, they are at Earth 2. You will
But that's what I'm saying. You just said Earth 1, so that way they can go back to Earth 1.
Oh.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So they're at Earth 2
to get back to Earth 1.
And so Mina and the main protagonist are going to go down to Earth 2 just to live out their lives.
Like the lady just wants to, like, save her kids because she
doesn't want the power cell.
Yeah, she's like, Earth 2 me is going to make the same mistake that I did and kill my kids.
And
so I want to save them.
Whenever that happens, Mina steals the 3D printed gun
from the Russian guy.
Knocks out the main protagonist. And when that happens, she ends up killing the doctor and shooting the German guy. Not killing him.
And her motivation behind this is basically like... I don't even remember. It was kind of confusing.
She mentioned killing 3 people to save 7 billion.
Yeah. So I think she was just kind of talking about, like, bringing the Shepherd to Earth 2 to get infinite energy and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. This part's a bit hazy just because we're kind of like, okay, let's get to something something cool again.
Yeah, we kind of lost a bit of attention span. And so
this is the point when he fell asleep, so...
Yeah.
After that, main protagonist runs into a room. Mina follows. They're running around, hiding.
She just monologues about, like, you can go save your family and stuff.
And then eventually, the main protagonist grabs the gun, shoots a window, like, twice, and that causes
cracks
suction.
And it sucks her out into the vacuum space.
And then she heals the German guy.
Yeah, she, like, gets his little, like, plastic bullets out.
And they get the particles to work.
Well, like, work as in get them back to Earth 1.
And then they teleport back to Earth 1, where they're greeted by the transmissions.
Well, actually, before they go back to Earth 1, the main protagonist sends a message to herself on Earth, which basically contains the plans and like schematics and all that for the Shepherd to basically help out Earth 2 and be like, hey, you guys are at war because of energy and stuff. Like, take this infinite energy.
Yeah.
And then she's also like talking to herself like, I know this is weird, but I'm you. Like, don't buy the power cell or whatever. And what else?
Go hug your family.
Yeah, go hug your family.
And so they
go back to Earth.
Go back to Earth 1, and the space station's like, where you been, blah blah blah, and they are able to get the particles to collide together,
because they actually get the condensation out of there this time. Mm-hmm. They started off like, we have a stable beam, we have particles colliding, infinite energy,
and then the people at the space station are like yay,
like come back,
come on down.
And then so we cut to her husband on Earth as he's getting a call from the space station people, because like obviously he knows them. He's like asking where his wife is throughout the whole movie, because obviously people on Earth 1 are like, the space station just disappeared, what the hell happened? So now he's getting a call that they're coming back down to Earth, and we totally forgot to mention the other parts that happen with him. He basically finds the kid at the apartment, he takes him with her, and he's in like this bomb shelter that his friend has or something. So he's like on the phone, he's like, what are you doing? You can't send her back down here with these things like going around. And he's like, tell her to go back.
Yeah, tell her not to come, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, it's too late.
Yeah.
And so it cuts to the shuttle.
Really cool final shots.
Cuts to the shuttle finally entering Earth's atmosphere, and it goes into the distance.
This tiny speck falls through the clouds, and then out of nowhere, the Cloverfield monster pops through the clouds and roars. And
a fully grown one.
A fully grown one, because like, as far as I remember, it was confirmed by J.J. Abrams or something that the Cloverfield monster in the first movie is a baby. So this one, which is like bigger than the atmosphere or something, at least taller than the clouds.
Yeah, taller than the clouds.
So it's supposedly like at least somewhat more grown. So that's the note that the movie leaves off on. I thought it was a really cool ending. I think that was like
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
That monster was scary as shit.
We finally get to see it without a handheld camera.
And like 10 years improvement of CGI.
There should have been like a shot on iPhone.
Maybe it's just because I haven't seen Cloverfield 1 in a long time. CG on it wasn't super amazing.
It was good enough. I mean, it looked terrifying.
Yeah.
It looks weird.
We haven't shown him the original yet.
No.
I mean, he at least doesn't remember seeing it ever, so that review is going to be coming last after he's seen the other two movies.
No. I think what we should do is release this one, hold off on 10 Cloverfield Lane, put up Cloverfield first, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Sure, we'll do that.
So we can have somewhat of chronological order.
So yes, the connections are there for the first Cloverfield movie, definitely. Because from what we can tell, the stuff on Earth 1 is literally the first Cloverfield movie.
We think it's the New York attack.
Yeah. That's what it would seem like. Yeah, so there aren't that many connections besides the last name of the author guy to 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
Which, my thought is that Earth 1 in this movie is obviously the original Cloverfield movie. 10 Cloverfield Lane takes place on like an Earth 3 or 4, maybe even Earth 2. Yeah, so 10 Cloverfield Lane, John Goodman talks about like there's been an attack. I don't know if it's nuclear or whatever, so that could be Earth 2 because they talk. What? Okay.
We just made eye contact and he's sitting there like.
Yeah, it's like Earth 2 is like at war, so that could be like at war with the aliens, maybe? Maybe. I don't know.
No, they said a bunch of countries were at war with each other.
I mean, yeah. The point is, Cloverfield's basically just a ton of alternate realities. That's what it would seem.
If this is all connected, which we have no approval from anybody, it's just all speculation.
For the promotional of this, they did say that this is how the Cloverfield happened.
Yeah, like the promotional thing is like 10 years ago, something appeared. Find out why in the Cloverfield paradox.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, obviously this explains.
So my question is, how in the hell did that thing get there? They don't really explain that portion of it. They just explain that there's multiple
dimensions and demons, like the guy said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't open up any evil
It just
dimensions.
appears, like how the fucking wall.
Just like the people on the space station were meshing with a different reality.
A different
Yeah.
reality, but
And the lady was
they
just
only
in the
showed
wall.
one reality. Oh no! They didn't show a different reality. They showed a different dimension. The only different dimension that they showed was the second dimension, which was Earth 2. They didn't even show an evil dimension. That's my question. Where the hell is the third
They only
dimension?
had an
Where all
hour
the-
and 40 minutes.
They didn't
and
only have
probably
an
a
hour
really
and 40
small
minutes.
budget.
It's
Yeah.
not a really small budget. It's Netflix, for God's sake.
Yeah, I
Paramount
know.
Pictures, you took it over. What small budget are you fucking talking about?
Stop cursing on my Christian server.
Am I wrong? They didn't show the third dimension where all this evil shit appears.
Okay, well,
I,
do
th-
they
I
need
think
to?
it's just.
It's a question, not a poke at the
They
movie.
did not.
They didn't. I think it's just meant to be inferred that like stuff from like infinite amounts of like multiverses and alternate realities and dimensions and stuff now meshes because these people messed with a goddamn particle accelerator.
Awesome.
Any final thoughts before we get into score and stuff?
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. So score out of 10.
I'd give it a solid 8.
I think I'd give it an 8 too.
I'll give it a 7. I'd give it an 8 if I understood more.
If you
I
had
mean-
been awake.
I was asleep for 10 minutes during the most non-crucial part of the movie.
You don't get the full experience.
I did get the full experience. That white bitch decided to kill everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very crucial. You filled me in with a brief 10-minute synopsis, rolled back the film so I could see the
But you
fucked
gave
up
it a
monster.
7. You're a
You know what
non-conformer.
you know what that monster looks like, though?
What?
I just lost the name of it, but it's a thing that Luke fights.
The rank.
The rank.
Yeah. That's what that thing looks like.
I mean, I guess he's only seen the head of the monster. He hasn't seen the actual body of
It
it.
has
the
like
body.
super long arms and short
You know
legs.
the Mutos from the 2014 Godzilla?
It's kind of like that.
Just like a giant white version of that. And instead of like EMP like hooks or whatever, it has like giant ass hands.
That's terrifying.
I got it.
You'll see it when we watch the original movie
Oh,
next time.
You say that, but you can't really see it.
There's a couple scenes where you see it pretty damn clearly.
If you pause it.
I can go look it up on Google right now.
That's what I'm doing for you right now.
J.J. Abrams can lick this dick. I hope you put this on YouTube.
He's only an executive producer on this movie, not
On this movie?
yeah.
What about Cloverfield, the original?
The original he directed, right?
Yeah,
Or did he just produce that? I think
he directed the
that's the
original.
Cloverfield monster.
Oh,
Creepy.
I don't like that. Who drew that? You need to die.
Especially like the little like.
If I ever saw that, I'd kill myself. That terrifies me. Aliens terrify me.
This is a still from the first movie.
I can't see it.
Are you looking for the monster?
No, I'm seeing that. It's just. Is that his arm?
Yeah.
His right arm? Like he's reaching into a cookie jar?
Yeah, so I was pretty satisfied. I got a lot more out of this than I expected.
I was terrified for a little bit of it.
There's a lot of like genuinely disturbing stuff. Like even though I knew about the fact that the Earth disappears, going in like the reactions of everyone on the ship, and like the way that they describe it and all this stuff, it still like kind of leaves like this weird like pit in your stomach where like the Earth is gone.
Yeah, no, as soon as the Earth disappears, like, oh shit. No more
Yeah.
egos.
It's like a
I'm
really
trying to weird you out, Jake, but it's not working.
No more egos. That's what I thought when the Earth disappeared. Also, the movie was good, but there's certain elements of it that I wish didn't happen. I wish that they explained a little bit more. But I also understand that it was mostly a holy shit moment where they're just trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
It's not like there was that one German guy's like, oh, it's a apocalypse
Yeah.
outfit and this different stuff. Like, they
Yeah.
were trying to figure it out the whole movie.
Yeah, this is like the clearest shot that
I'm trying to not show Dakota.
Why?
Because it's
Why-
cool if you see it.
I don't care.
Why were you
Fine.
showing me then? That's the clearest shot of it you see in the movie.
Why was it black in the thing?
Because the sun was behind it. It's a shadow.
So,
Yeah.
Of that giant fucking black thing that appeared at
that-
the end of it? That's not a
it's
shadow.
Just like that's black.
Yeah, but why was it white in the day?
Because the lighting angle,
The lighting was coming from behind it, so it was silhouetting it.
just
What
like
light?
how
It was
this
all
side of your
the sun.
face is darker than this side, because the light is coming from there.
Cut this out, future Jake, please.
Look at that part. That part's darker. Because it's in the shadow.
Okay, let's stop talking about lighting schematics on Cloverfield.
He's still like trying to think about it.
Check out God Particle, or the
God Particle.
no, the Cloverfield Paradox. I'm so used to calling it God Particle.
Check out Star Wars 8.
No, it,
The Last
Fucking
Jedi. No.
This has been another review of anything. Bye.